to our religion and our people.
I think it's harmful and it just inspires terror to continue.
Do you think
I blame men. I'm going to put it out there.
it's exactly what they wanted? They got what they wanted and they were rewarded for their act of terrorism. At the very least, could we not have ensured the safe return of all of the remaining hostages before this was done? Senior leader of Hamas has a message for Keir Starmer. We're going to make sure he gets it. Britain has now recognised a Palestinian state, even while Hamas terrorists still hold Jewish hostages captive. We're going to speak to members of the public about this and see what they have to say. It's Palestinian statehood recognition. It was in the news today or yesterday that the Prime Minister recognised a Palestinian state.
Yes, I did see that. Wasn't it Canada and somewhere else?
Canada, the UK and Australia, yeah.
I did read that.
Can I ask your thoughts on that?
Oh, I think it's important. I don't have a lot to say about it, but I do think that it's overdue. I think it's a very difficult and layered situation.
So I think there's a concern that this decision in essence rewards terrorism because Hamas is still holding hostages and we haven't even imposed conditions that the hostages should be released for the state to be recognized. Do you think that that's concerning?
Yes, of course. I mean, the hostages should be released immediately or, 100 and 300 days ago. It definitely is part of it. But I mean, I don't know enough about it to be able to speak to the decision-making process that went on. How we got there is so much part of it, and I don't know enough about the history to know how they got there. But obviously the hostages should be released and should have been a long time ago.
Hamas is a terrorist organization, should never be rewarded whatsoever. But I think Palestine, they've been given no options. They have no options on the global scale because they don't have a state that can't make their decisions. I'm not saying that Hamas should be making all of these decisions, but I think this is giving them that autonomy and as a state, hopefully the global scale can give them more opportunity to decide their own things, and that's not necessarily Hamas. I think that also needs to be addressed as well.
Do you think at the very least, perhaps the condition that the hostages should have been released first before acknowledging that state should be imposed?
I don't know. I mean, perhaps I don't know enough, but I think for these decisions to be made under very specific kind of things to be met, like only this happens if this and that, I think that then nothing's going to happen.
Are you hopeful that this recognition does bring us one step closer to bringing the hostages back?
Oh, I mean, absolutely, yeah. And that's something that needs to happen. It has to. And I think, Hamas as the terrorist organization holding these people is horrendous.
Now, are you aware that Britain has recognized a Palestinian state?
Yes, I heard unfortunately about that.
Okay.
I'm Jewish, I'm from Israel originally, and we live in Canada, and our country also recognized Palestine as a state. I really disagree with this decision. I think it's harmful and it just inspires terror to continue. This message has to be heard. So thank you for doing that. So right now it's convenient to support Hamas, and unfortunately we live in a world that is very anti-Semitic and doesn't see a reality of things and what it can lead to.
I'm Jewish and I think this is disgusting.
Can we chat to you for a minute?
No, I'm on my way, but you're supporting a genocide and it's a bunch of bullshit. You're bringing shame to our religion and our people.
In what way?
In what way? You're supporting a genocide.
I'm not. Why don't you chat to me? Okay, so a man who's now driven away was on his bike. He said, I'm Jewish and I think what you're doing is disgusting. You're supporting a genocide. I said, okay, let's have a conversation, chat to me. He said, no, you're bringing shame to our people, rode off. And it's very frustrating because I'm trying to have conversations with people. It's a nuanced, complex topic. And calling each other names and insulting each other is not the way progress is going to be made.
it's a good thing that they've been recognised as a state for sure.
Can I ask why you think it's a good thing? What are you hoping that this brings?
Hopefully it kind of brings Palestine to the international stage a bit more, and international support comes their way.
Whilst the state is being recognised, Hamas terrorists who rule Gaza are still holding Jews hostage, and it feels a bit like it's a reward for terrorism. And that's our van, where we're basically publicising a quote. One of the senior leaders of Hamas say that this is one of the fruits of October 7th. So I think that for many, certainly in the Jewish community, but also wider in the country, there's a feeling of A, should we not have had the hostages released before we did this? And B, what message does this send to other terrorists?
It's a very good point. It's one that I haven't really thought about, so thank you for bringing that to my attention. It's so hard to put into words, really, about the situation. It's just, I'd rather not have this happening at all to anybody or anything. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. And can I just tell you what I think a lot of people, a lot of concerned members of the public, they turn on the TV, they see the news, they scroll on their phones, and they see horrific images happening of war in Gaza, and it's brutal. No one likes these images, and I think a lot of people think we have to do something. Britain wants to recognise the state of Palestine. That's good. That's positive. This will benefit them, and I think a lot of people aren't necessarily so aware of the situation that's still going on and who this benefits. You know what I mean?
Well, most of us get fed by the media as to what we see, so we can only go on what we see.
Of course, and that's not me blaming you or anyone else. This is me saying this is the state that we're in.
Well, that's it, exactly. We do just get fed what we're told to eat, really. We get fed the media as they told us to see it, so I think my viewpoints can be influenced by that quite a lot, to be fair, as would anybody's if it's down in front of you 24/7 being told what to think and how you should be. But there wasn't really much of a chance to have a voice about any of this as well. It's all from the politician side of things. I don't know whether they've done any kind of opinion polls or anything, what the general public feels, but again, we're told what to think and told what to do.
I get that. I suppose my lasting message would be I implore you to look into this more and see who this benefits. I think a lot of people may consider this an act of, dare I say, dangerous virtue signalling.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, the hostages are the key thing to this. I mean, everything should revolve around getting them people home as soon as they can. But yeah, you're right. Thank you for bringing it to my attention today.
Thank you for chatting with me.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.
The UK and some other countries recognise the state of Palestine.
And I think it's a good thing, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more?
I'm against the war, and I believe that the war is supposed to be ended, yeah?
No one likes suffering. No one wants to see people die.
Yeah, of course. That's
All right.
very simple.
Do you think that in order to recognise a Palestinian state, do you think before this should have happened, we should have demanded the hostages back?
I think without the war, we had no conversation about, keep the Palestine as a country, or being listed as a country. So that's a small difference, I guess.
So I hear that. I suppose it feels like to me, that the hostages are being used by Hamas as bargaining chips.
Yes.
And it feels like they kind of have been rewarded. Can I interview you for a minute?
So I'm very pro-Palestine. There needs to be a stop to the fighting.
I think the issue is that you have Israel and then you have Hamas. And Hamas in its charter have committed to wiping out not just Israelis but Jews. That's in their charter.
Yes,
And
I completely understand that, and that you are, as a state, anxious to maintain you're fighting for your own ability to live peaceful lives. I get that. But what's happening at the moment is not furthering that.
we have recognised a Palestinian state in Britain now,
Yes.
as of yesterday.
Fantastic.
And so the issue is we've done it while Hamas are still holding Jewish hostages.
That's awful. Why can't Hamas release the Israeli hostages? That's awful. I really don't understand what's going on.
Do you think
I blame men. Going to put it out there. Going to put it out there.
Do you
I mean, where are the women in all this? The women and the children are the ones that are dying. They're dying in Israel and they're dying in Palestine. And you want mothers in Israel. Where are the mothers in Israel to love the children of Palestine? Where are the mothers in Palestine to love the children of Israel? A map that was in the 1920s. It says across that whole land that is now Israel and the West Bank and Palestine, it says Palestine. Had Palestine on the map then. So why can't it have Palestine on the map now.
So, I mean, to take you back before the 1920s, a few thousand years ago, it was Judea and it was a Jewish land and the Jews were expelled and, the land changed over time.
Of course. So the Torah, but the Torah is, you probably know the Torah better than I do, but it's a book of violence and fighting against people. That is not the way that I would approach it.
I don't know if I would characterize the Torah as a book of violence necessarily.
No, but there's a lot of fighting in the Torah, isn't there? Let's go and smash the Hittites and, that sort of...
Is there not violence in every religious text somewhere?
Okay, I believe in a Jesus who spoke of the good news of peace and who spoke of equality and love for all people.
Okay.
He was non-violent.
All right. I feel like we're singling out the Torah here, which I wouldn't necessarily...
No, it was you that brought up the traditional Jewish state. I didn't bring that up. It was you.
I wouldn't necessarily start in the 1920s. That was my point.
Yes. Well, where do you start? I mean, you could go back in America to the Native American Indians. It's a very difficult question. How far do you go back?
So there you have it. I spoke to a lot of people today, and the overwhelming consensus that I got was that what is happening over there is a tragedy. No one likes to see war or suffering, but this is not the answer. While Jewish hostages are being held in Hamas terrorist dungeons, Palestinian statehood recognition is nothing more than a reward for terror. And when I pushed people a little bit and I pressed them and I said, okay, why do you think this? What makes you say that? A lot of people said, okay, well, to be honest, I'm not so informed on the matter, and well, I don't really know enough about it. And hey, I get it. I'm not expecting everyone to be, an expert on every single subject. But when lives are literally on the line, we really have to stop and think what it is that we are supporting and if we are right in doing so.